Mesechta Zevachim Daf Kuf Amud Aleph. We're starting from Tzadik Tes Amid Beis. Tzadik Tes Amid Beis. The last three words on the Amid. Rab Mari. Okay. Zog the Yimada. So let me just tell you. We learned the stira between Rab Shimon and Rab Shimon. Rab Shimon says in one place a oinen. A oinen is somebody from the immediate family passed away. A father, a mother, a wife, a daughter, a sister. So if one of them passed away, that's called oinen. So in one place we learned that an oinen cannot eat a korban from the cannot be a kohen who's an oinen, or a kohen gadol who's an oinen, cannot be marked a korban pesach. And another place it says that a kohen who's an oinen that he could. Reb Shimon said you could. So how do we answer the stira? Rab Mari Omar. Rab Mari says ichul fayim from the stira loy kasha kan. Where it says that the oinen can nicht makriv sein the korban pesach, can nicht essen the korban pesach, is shemeis loy meis. That there was that a kariv, the kariv died when be abba asa on the 14th, who kvari be abba asa, and he was also buried on the 14th. So if the mace, the person who passed away on Erev Pesach, and the kvuda was also on Erev Pesach, on the day of Erev Pesach, so then has a chamirus, I guess a severity more severe that the kohen cannot eat because mace. The only reason why we want to allow a kohen to eat from the korban Pesach was if a mitzvah say, because the Torah says you have to eat the korban Pesach. And the punishment for nicht folgende Asay, for not eating the korban Pesach, is a chiyuv from kares. So therefore, we were lenient with Mekel given chotchis and he should be able to eat the korban Pesach. But nicht if is oinen the araisa, the mace and the kvuda happened the same day. That not. But so that's why it said sosa kan, and over here it's talking about shemeis loy mace. Bishleisha, so I put it in the right place. Now you got to turn to the next page. So now we're talking about the place where they said he's allowed to eat the kohen who's an oinen. Oinen is somebody who immediate family died. So if a kohen whose immediate family died, we allow him to eat the korban Pesach only if the mace happened a day before, and the kfura was a day after. Then it's only midrabanan. The kfura is only midrabanan. If it was mace on the 14th day, now he's explaining what's the difference if he died on the 14th and they buried him on the 14th, because that's midaraisa. And we say the yoim of the misa is teifus leiloi midaraisa. Fashlept, it brings in the night and it makes the iser of oinen by night also minatera. And he's not allowed to eat from the korban Pesach. Oh, but how about mace b'shleisha asa? If in the case where he died on the 13th, but the kvuda was a day later, which is only midabanan, ukvari ba'aba asa. So the whole kvuda is midabanan because the kvuda is not on the same day of the misa. So you bury, but the isa of oinen, the tsar from oinen, is nicht as stark because so they like here's oinen midabanan. For sure, the day that he died, but the day of the kfur is also, as long as the mace is befanov, he's still a oinen. But the oinen is nicht as stark, which is a day later. So he says the yom kfur is midabanan. So if the yom kfur is only midabanan, so the night any type is leila midabanan. So the night can only be midabanan, and mitzad the abanan. They let a oinen, the Rabbanan, eat a korban Pesach because to essen the korban Pesach is a mitzvah say the araisa.
The night follows the coming day.
The night, no, not normally, but here the night after the day is he still oinen? Yeah, he's oinen. It does follow, but oinen the Rabbanan. So mitzad the korban Pesach, which the mitzvah say the araisa, and if it'll be over his chayv kares. The Rabbanan said, "Hey, he can eat the korban Pesach." Abashi said,
"The 14th at night."
The 14th night, yeah, that's already the night. Abashi said to Rabbanan, Only this that we learn, according to your wording, this that we learned, Amalei Rab Shimon said back to Rab Yehuda. Rab Shimon and Rab Yehuda had an argument, but the Yom and the night after. If the night after, the Yom has the same severity as the Yom, meaning if the Yom Misa, the day that he died, does the night have the same chumrah the following night like the day? So Rabbi Yehuda says absolutely, it's awesome. He's a oinen daraisa by night, the night following the day of the misa.
They didn't bury him yet.
If the daraisa was by the day,
Because they didn't bury him yet. That's why.
Right. Even if they did bury him, if they bury him the same day that he died,
Still?
it's the same day, so it's oinen daraisa the next night. So the night after, he's still oinen daraisa. That's according to Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Shimon says no. Once it hits the night, that's it. The day he was oinen daraisa. By night he's only oinen rabbanan. Take the araya. He says, Rabbi Shimon says, I'll bring you araya that the night after the day he's only it's only oinen rabbanan. Shei Omer, because the Chacham said oinen toiva v'oichel es. It says oinen even the day of the misa. By night he's going to have to eat the Korban Pesach. He says he could. He has to just be toivel himself, and then he eats the Korban Pesach. But he cannot eat other kachim, just Korban Pesach. It's midrabanan because if it was midraisa, he wouldn't be able to eat the Korban Pesach.
The Korban Pesach is oicha midrabanan.
Yes, but this overrides. I don't overrides it. But the Korban Pesach, the reason why they allowed him midrabanan, even though he's oicha midrabanan, because there's a fan the chiyuv from Kodesh. So name a lay. L'cheina, Rabbi Yehuda should have said, this is what your answer. That's your proof that the night after the day it's midrabanan. You're saying that this whole case, Rabbi Shimon just explained that the reason why he was allowed to eat the Korban Pesach because he died the 13th, and the 14th was the Kvuda, so the whole thing was midrabanan. Of course, the night he's going to be able to eat. We're not talking about it's orange and apples. Rabbi Yehuda said, I'm talking about a case where he died the 14th. So what's happening? How do you say you have a raya? Rabbi Yehuda should have answered. Rabbi Shimon, listen, I was talking about a case where he died the 14th, the Yom HaMisa was the Raisa. And you're coming and you bring me a case of Es Yom Kvura de about a day of Kvura, which was not the day of the Misa, it was the day after. So I agree with that it's only with Rabbanan. I'm not arguing with you. You have no proof that if it was Yom Misa on Erev Pesach, that the night is considered midrabanan. Kasha, it's not a good kasha. Kasha on Rab Mari, because Rab Mari learned the pshat that the Mishnah that says that he can eat the night with the Korban Pesach was talking about which case? The day was a Yom Kvura, not a Yom Misa.
Yeah, okay.
So what do you bring me a raya from that Mishnah that on against Rabbi Yehuda? Rabbi Yehuda is talking about Yom Misa was 14. And you're telling me this Mishnah is a raya to Rabbi Shimon that the night after, on the page before, on the daf before. Okay, Abaye Amaloi Kasha. Abaye says it's not a Kasha. Kan, Rabbi Shimon that says Oinu is not Makva Korban Pesach is talking about Shemeis Koidim Chatzais. If he died already before Chatzais, he was already disqualified. He was from bringing the Korban Pesach because he was an Oinem before Chatzais. Kan, where Rabbi Shimon says you're allowed to eat the Korban Pesach, Shemeis La Chatzais. So he was already ready to bring the Korban Pesach. So we're not going to take him out of the group. He's already part of it. Koidim Chatzais, he says, Lo Yechazer Pesach. If he died, if he was an Oinem before Chatzais, he's already disqualified from the Korban Pesach. He's a Nishgiveni Roi to mark him sign the Korban Pesach because it happened before Chatzais. Chayla Alei Aninus, the Aninus already happened before Chatzais. But Chayla Alei Aninus, Chatzais. But what's if the Aninus happened only after Chatzais? The Chazal Pesach. So there he already became fit for the Korban Pesach. Then we don't say that Aninus is Chalafem to be usher to be marked the Korban Pesach. Once the Aninus started after Chatzais, he was already royally to be marked, and therefore he could eat from the Korban Pesach. How do you know to be mechalik between before Chatzais and after Chatzais? Bein couldn't say the bein achatzois. How do I know to be mechalik those two? After the Gemara, the Tanya being a raya from a study of two braises. In one braise it says, Lagabe Kohen, that his sister died. It says lo yitama. He should be matam himself to her. Mitzvah, the mitzvah. This kind of mitzvah. He has to be matam himself to his sister, and he cannot eat the korban pesach. Lo yiratza, if he doesn't want to be matam himself, matam him is about koche. They take him make it into the oil, and he has to go deal with the kvudah of his sister. And the Gemara gives a story. Ma'aseh b'Yosef HaKohen. So Ma'aseh b'Yosef HaKohen Shemesa Yishtu Be'er Pesach. His wife died Be'er Pesach. So the people are saying, no, why aren't you going to the Vay? He doesn't have any against the Vay. I'm not being matam myself. I want to be able to be marked the korban Pesach. And the Kahanim were accounted between each other. It was a kohen, and they all mask him that they have to be matameh b'akach. B'tamur b'akach. The marang is to b'akach. A kohen, a regular kohen.
His wife, you said a sister before.
This is a case of a wife. Yeah, the same thing. It's one of the immediate family is the father, the mother, the sister, the wife. Yeah. Okay. So first of all, Yosef married her sister right away. Right by the Beis HaKvaros, he married his sister because he wanted his sister to take care of the family. He didn't live with her for many months after, but he married her to Shema Yagdim. So he wanted to make sure he has her to take care of the kids. Okay, anyway, Zakti Bari Raminu. There's a stida from these Raisa. It says Ulachise. It says the words Ulachise, Benageya to a nazir. It said, why does he say, what does he come to say, if nazir, and he's a kohen gadol, and he went to shach to come Pesach, or if it says the halacha is, if you have scharim in your house, that he didn't circumcise them, he cannot be the korban Pesach till he's mal his own kids. So he went to shach this Pesach and before he had a chance to shach the korban Pesach or to be mal one of his kids in order to eat from the korban Pesach, he heard that one of the immediate family passed away. He's oinen. Yachol Yitame. I would have thought, okay, he has to go be matam himself because he's oinen. It's his craven. Amarta lo Yitame. So we said no, he should not be matam himself. That's what it takes. Like Yachol, I would have thought Shem lo Yitame la'achosei ka'achei matam l'meismitzah. I would have thought just like he cannot be metame himself to his sister, he cannot be metame himself to Meis Mitzvah. Tamad Leimu L'Achisei comes the word L'Achisei telling us only L'Achisei Udein Metame. He's not allowed to be metame himself to his sister. Aval metame or to his wife either. Yeah. Aval metame lo Meis Mitzvah. Meis Mitzvah is that there's nobody to bury this person. There's no.
So this is talking after Chatzais, right?
Oh, so 1 minute. So here you have it's a stit in the brisa itself. In this brisa, you have these two brises. One it says, "Lo yitama," you have to be metamin. Like the story with Yosef HaKohen, that they forced him to be metamin and not to eat from the korban Pesach. And here we learn out from Lachisei, he's not allowed to be metamin himself. So which one is it? Is he supposed to be matam himself or not? Lashmami, no. Is Zaraya? How do we answer the two brises? One brisa says he should be matam, and one says not. Says Gemara Khan in the first brisa is talking about koidem chatzos. So before chatzos, he's disqualified already. So he has to be matam himself to his wife or to his sister. Khan, but the second brisa is talking about lacha chatzos. As shen yivarin royal to makrim zayin. So you're already right to be makim. You cannot be mataming yourself to your sister or to your wife, and you have to shach the korban Pesach, or you have to be mal your son in order to eat the korban Pesach. How do you know to explain that there are two braises? One is talking about before and one after chatzos. Maybe both braises are talking about after chatzos. And it's not a stira. Oh, Rabbi Yishmael. It's two different Tanoim. One braise is following Rabbi Yishmael. The Hor, Rabbi Akiva, and this one, another braise follows Rabbi Akiva. The Tanya that we learned in the braise. This that it says by a kohen that his sister died. Lo yitame, he has to be metam himself. Rishus doesn't mean that he has to. It's only Rishus. Meaning, if he wants, he could. Divi Rabbi Yishmael. So according to Rabbi Yishmael, does he have to be metam himself to his sister? No. And since he doesn't have to, so he's allowed to eat to come Pesach and not be metam himself. Rabbi Akiva, no, when it says lo yitama, it's not a rishus, it's a chayva, it's a chayv. And that's why he has to be metam himself, and he cannot eat from the Korban Pesach. And that's how we coincide the two braises. One is going according to Rabbi Yishmael, who says rishus, and therefore he's allowed to eat from the Korban Pesach because he doesn't have to be metam himself. And Rabbi Akiva says he's not allowed to eat from the Korban Pesach because it's a mitzvah. He has to be metam himself to his wife. So you want to shouldn't enter your mind. He says this is the Reish, that the Reish is following Rabbi Yishmael. The Reish that he Rabbi Akiva Ketanillah. That Reish, that whole Bryce, I'm sorry, that the second Bryce is Rabbi Yishmael. Because look in the second Bryce, at the beginning of that Bryce, it starts off with Rabbi Akiva. The Tanya that we learned in the Bryce, Rabbi Akiva Hima. Rabbi Akiva says, Benegeya to Nazir. In the Torah it says, Benegeya to Nazir, Kol Yimei Azirah Lashem, Al Nefesh Meis Lo Yavei. He says he's never allowed to be matam himself to any person, to any mace. And then it says, Lo Avi, Le'imai, La'achid, La'achis, La'yitama. So all the Mefarshim, the Gemara is going to ask, why do you have to now specify the father, the mother, the sister? It's what's in the game. You said he's not allowed to be matam l'chol nefesh. So what happened now?
What's different?
Says you want a nefesh elu akravim. Nefesh, when it says nefesh, it means those that are relatives. He's not allowed to be matam. Meis elu arechikim, those that are distant from him. So when it says by nazar al nefesh meis, the meis is referring to those that are distant, and the nefesh are those that are craving. What is Ovid coming to teach us? That he's come to teach us that he's allowed to be matame lemeis mitzvah. That's why we needed the extra word la'avid. Li'imai, why do we need the extra word li'imai? Says the Gemara, because to tell us that the nazir was also a kohen. Are you a kohen? V'hu nazir. Even though he's the Rashka Bahag is a kohen mita nazir, nevertheless, he still cannot be metame to his mother. He still has to be metame himself on meis mitzvah, even though he's a kohen mitanazer. Says he want to what do you have to say lachit for? To tell you not only a kohen, shima kohen gadol. He was not just a stam kohen; he was a kohen gadol nazir. That lachit deinu metame meis mitzvah. Even if he's a kohen gadol with a nazir, he has to be metame meis mitzvah. What do you mean? You didn't jump to Kohen Gadol. You have to go in steps. What does it come to teach? If he was on his way to Shachtis Korban Pesach, to allow him to eat from the Korban Pesach to circumcise his son, and he heard that one of his kohen passed away, I would have thought Yitamo, that he's allowed to be metam himself for the craving. So he said, no, he cannot be metam himself for the craving. I would have thought, you tell me you're not allowed to be metam even to your own relative, your sister. So I would say, hey, you can't even do it to your sister. I would say for a stranger, yeah, meis mitzvah, but he's a stranger. He shouldn't have to be metam himself. Tamad leima, the extra word la'achisi, dafke la'achisi lo yitama. Only to his sister, but he does have to be metam himself lemeis mitzvah. This is all Rabbi Akiva. So you couldn't say that this brayso was Rabbi Yishmael. That answer he slugged up. It's not a good answer. You can't say one is Rabbi Akiva and the first brayso is Rabbi Yishmael. The first brayso was not Rabbi Yishmael. It was all Rabbi Akiva. So as Rabbi says he had a different answer. Idi lacha chatzois. Both braysos are talking about after chatzois. V'loi kasha. One brayso says could eat the Korban Pesach. One brayso says you can. It's nicht kasha. Kan koidem sheshachatu. Here, the brisa that says Oinen cannot eat from the Korban Pesach is talking about before they shechted the Korban Pesach, or before v'zarkala, before they spray the blood. Kan, and the brisa that says he could eat from the Korban Pesach. When did it become Oinen? La'achas sheshachtu. He already slaughtered the animal v'zarkala, and he sprayed the blood. So if it happened after, listen. He did the whole procedure, and now he became Einan. He can eat from the Korban Pesach.
We don't have to make a chiluk sufficient.
Says, no, they both have to say. The chiluk is, when did it become Einan? Before the Shechita or nach the Shechita? Once he already shechted the Korban and sprayed the blood, you said the whole reason he must eat the Korban Pesach, because the Fran Hazah, strenge Einish. What's the Einish? Kares. Oh, but if you already shechted the Korban Pesach and you spray the blood, there's no more kares, according to the Ravad Masna. So why does he have to eat? Why do we allow him to eat? He shouldn't eat. If say he shechted it, right? He's a Einan. The poor mamish is a Einan, but it's after the shechita. So say if it happened, the shechita happened, and the zikas dam happened, so now there's no reason for him to eat it because there's no kares anymore. Because he was makriv the Korban Pesach. So Amalei Avina says, hey, I disagree with you. Nein, achilas psachim ma'akva. Achilik from the kiyam mitzvah from Korban Pesach is asking the Korban Pesach. With Avesen, yeah, with the Rabbi Baravuna, for Rabbi Baravuna. Where do we see that? 1 minute. And Amalei and Rabbi said to Ravada Bamasna, he says, listen, Ravada. So is my the Kamalach Rabach. Listen to your Rebbe Ravina. He's right that the achila is me'akiv, and therefore the chilik is a good chilik. That the brisa that says that he cannot eat is before the shechita, and the brisa that says he can eat is after shechita. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we had it before. Yes. In fact, you my the Rab Baravuna. Where do we find this Rab Baravuna that he says that achila is me'akiv? It's part of the key mitzvah of Korban Pesach, the Tanya. Now, before we go further, there's different levels of Oinan. There's the top level is mace. Then there's the next one, which is called Yom HaKfura. And the Yom HaKfura is the most chomor after mace. Then you have the Memutza, which is Likut HaTzom. I'm sorry, not Likut HaTzom mace. The Yom HaShmuah, the day that he heard it. He could hear it a day later, 2 days later, a week later. And then you have the lightest one is Likut HaTzomes. What is Likut HaTzomes? These people that they pass away in England or in France, they have to move the bodies to Eretz Yisrael. They smash the ground. They're not watching the mason there. So what do? They bury if they don't have a chance, and then the malakat hatzames. It says also, he brings down in the Medrash that in the olden times they used to make much more space. They would wait till the body was eaten up, and then there would be malakat hatzames and put in a little box and bury it that way. That's how they did. So,
it was expensive, the ground.
So Likut hatzames is the geringste because that's much later. So, and the hardest one after mace is the Yom Kvura. The Memutza is the Shmuah, if you heard it later. So here, now listen. The time we learned to I say Yom Shmuah. I told you the mittelste, the middle one, not the hardest. It's in between. Yom Shmuah has a din Yom Kvura like the hardest one. Legabe what? If you heard the Shmuah within 30 days, then you have to do mitzvah shiva. He has to sit shiva if it's within 30 days, ushloishin, and he has to also keep the 30 days also from the shmua. Okay, that's b'meshach the first days. In the 7 days, he's not allowed to take a shower. He's not allowed to wear shoes. Okay, and then till the shloishin the other yisurim. But v'lachilas psachim. If the Yom Shmuah, if he heard it at a later date, the Shmuah that the person passed away, when it comes to eating the Korban Pesach, ki Yom Likut HaTzomes. he has the kula, the leniency of likat sames that he could eat the Korban Pesach. So Yom Shmuel in Aveg Hotis the Chumra vi Yom Kvura when it gets to Shiva U'Shleishim, and it has the kula of likat sames that it can eat the Korban Pesach. Says the Mishnah Vaita, the Braisa, Echad whether it was the Yom HaKvura, whether it's the Yom of Likut HaTzomes, the Ovel is Toivel, he's Toivel, and he can eat Kachim in the evening. So that's only Yom Shmuah or the Likut HaTzomes. Says, you want to Hagufa Kasha, you have a stira in this Braisa itself. Amata Yom Shmuah ki Yom Kvura. You said first the Yom Shmuah has the Chumrah, the Yom Kvura, the mitzvahs, Shiva U'Shleishim. V'negei to keeping the Shiva with the Shleishim. V'hilu la'achilas p'sachim, you said the Yom Shmuah is ki Yom Likut Atzomes. Miklal, the Yom Kvura, afilu la'erev nam lo yochol. The only ones that could eat is the one that the Shmuah, the Yom Shmuah, the Yom Likut Atzomes. But if it would be Yom Kvura, say, he would not be able to eat from the Korban Pesach. Bahadatani, and then you learned Echad Zeh ve'Echad Zeh. Side the Yom HaKvura, side the Yom of Likat Sames. So you see the Yom HaKvura, it says he's Toivel, all he has to do is be Toivel, ve'Eichem Kadashim L'Erev. It says he could eat the Korban Pesach. So you make which one is it? It's a statement. Before you said that the only one that could eat from the Korban Pesach is the Yom Shmuah because it's like Likut Atzomes, not the Yom Kvura. And so that means the Yom Kvura, tarnished, is not allowed to eat from the Korban Pesach. And then at the end of the Braisa it says, Echad Zeh ve'Echad Zeh, side the one from the Likut Atzomes. And side the one from Yom Kvura is Teivel ve'Echad Kachim L'Erev. So which one is it? It's a machlekes of Tanoim. The first case holds like the Tana that says, Achilas Kachim is Asur in the night after the Kvura. And the second Braisa holds like the Tanakama that says it's Mutter the night after the Kvura. Rab Rav Huna Amar Lo Kasha. It's not a stira. Kon Sheshama Shmuel Meis Samach Lishkis Achama. Here it's talking about when did he hear about the mace? Well, I'm talking about now the beginning of the Braisa that said a Aval could eat Kachim by night is talking about when did he hear the Shmuel? Before Shkia, before the night. And when is he eating the Korban Pesach? The night after. So it's a separate day. So if it's a separate day, he's allowed to eat it. And so too by Likat Sames, why could he eat from the Korban Pesach? Because when was he Likat Sames? In the day, before the night. So that's one day. The night is the next day. Or so too the Kvura. The Kvura happened before Shkia. And the night when they eat the Korban Pesach is a separate day. And the end of the Braisa it says it's also for to eat from the Korban Pesach because the Kvura happened in that same part of in the night after Shkia. So if it happened in that part of the day where that it's after Shkia, it's in the nighttime, then he's not allowed to eat the Korban Pesach.
But the Shlita was already during the day, right?
No, which one? Everything.
Pesach Sheni, yeah, right? Thursday.
The Pesach Sheni is for somebody who wasn't able to be marked the Korban Pesach. Pesach Rishon did Pesach Sheni.
So this would
Here we're talking about Pesach Rishon.
I know, but if he gets knocked off Pesach Rishon,
We're saying he goes to Pesach Sheni, correct? Now it says the Gemara, in fact, if it's if the Shkis Achama, right? So what? He already shachted the Korban. We know you have to shach the Korban before Shkia. You have to do it. Everything happened. So why, if he doesn't need it, big deal. If he doesn't need it, he did whatever he has to. As long as the shchita was done, so there's no chiv kares. Sagt die Gemara, Lishma minach, this pesachim me'akva. Now, Zarai, that eating the pesachim is ma'akiv, and that's why he has to wait to Pesach Sheni. It is a equal. Ravashi gives a different answer. When we said echatza, we assumed it means side the Yom HaKvura, side the Yom of Likat Atzomes. So we thought one of the cases Yom HaKvura that he can eat from the kachim. No, he said that's not echatza. Hachi kama echad Yom Shmuah, echad Yom Likat Atzomes. He wasn't talking about Yom Kvuda. The two cases were not Yom Likud Atzomis and Yom Kvuda that he can be table and eating kachim. The two cases were Yom Shmua and the Yom of Likud Atzomis, the two lenient ones. Those could eat it. Table ve'ich b'kachim ladev. Says the Gemara, how could you say that? Well, the Ravashi, but they see this answer that Ravashi said that the two cases are Likud Atzomis and the Yom Shmua is for sure a mistake. Because Mechti, let me cook them. What was the last case you said? You said that in the Braisa you ended off saying that the Yom Shmua is like the Yom of Likud Atzomis that you can eat the Korban Pesach. That was the last case. So if that's the last case, you should say Zevachim. When you're talking about these two cases, you're still talking about the Likud Atzomis and the Yom Shmua. So you should have said Zevachim. This last two cases, this and this. Why did you give a harichas haloshen echad zeh ve'echad zeh? Echad zeh ve'echad zeh means you're talking about two different extremes. That not the last case. Zevachim boyelei. If the last two cases were Likud Atzomis of the Braisa, that was the last two cases. Likud Atzomis and the Yom Shmua. So say those two cases, Zevachim, those two last cases. Boyelei. Elishmami no, bedusi zarayis bedusi. That's a mistake. What he's saying. When it says echad zeh, he's not referring to the last case. He's referring to the two extremes, to the case of Yom Likud Atzomis and to the Yom Kvuda. So, Gemara, my Tanoi. What was the machlekes of the Tanoim? It says Gemara the Tanya that because we learned before it's a machlekes of Tanoim. So he says that what's the machlekes? We learned in the Braisa ad mosai misoyin alav. Till when does one keep the aninus? The Isav Aninus, and meaning that it's for him also to eat kachim. Says Gemara Kol Hayom. The Tanakhama says the whole day. Rabbi Yehuda says no, not the whole day. Kol Zman Shalei Nigma. As long as the mace is befanav, he's a oinan. The minute you bury the mace, kem shanas and kachim. It's already he's no oinan. In fact, what are we talking about? Elam, if you're going to say b'yoyim misa, it's the day that the person passed away. Mi'ika the Leslie. Is there somebody who doesn't hold the Yom Misa, the toughest Leila Midrabana? That if it's the day that he passed away, he's a Oina Midaraisa. So the following night, everybody holds the night. The following night is Midrabana. You can't say there's no Oina at all. V'su Nachmer Rabbi Yehuda calls man Shalei Nikbar. Rabbi says calls man the base wasn't buried. So it's mashma hakvare. If you already buried the mace, Ishtrelei. He's no more on Einan. Is there somebody that will hold that he's not an Einan anymore once he's buried? In Amos, in Navi, it brings down in the Navi of Amos that it says that a person who will live with a Zayna, his last day will be a Bita Diketog. The last day of his will be Yoimar, a bitter day. Over there it says that whole day, that there will be there'll be an of aninus for that day. So you see, it's a pasuk that says the oinen is for sure the whole day. Not part of once you bury him, he's no more oinen. That pasuk says we finish it's the whole day. So the Gemara Amar Avsheishes, because of this kasha, so we're not talking about Yom Misa. Amar Avsheishes Yom Kfura. He's talking about the Yom Misa was a day before, and we're talking about the Yom Kfura, which is a day after. So here the Tanakhama says the Aninus is through the whole day of the Kfura, the full day. And Rabbi says no, the moment you bury the mace,
2 days then?
it's 2 separate days. The Yom Misa is 1 day. Sometimes they bury the next day, yeah.
So he's only for 2 days.
He's only for 2 days. But the second day, according to Rabbi, only till he's buried. But once he's buried, he's no more in it. The Tanakhama says even on the Yom Kippur is the whole day. No, Einim de Abana. Maskiv Lord Rav Yisrael is the Kasha. El Hodik Tani, only this that we learned, Hashoimeya ala Meisoi. Somebody hears about his Korev who died, Kimelaket Hatzomes. The Shmua has a din like a Likud Hatzomes, which I explained before. Toivel ve'eichli kachim ladav. He gets to be Toivel and eat the Korban Pesach. Meklal the Yom Kfura afilu adam dam lo yochel. If it would be the Yom Kfura, not the Yom Shmua, the Yom Kfura, then even the Korban Pesach will be forbidden to eat. Homani, who is this Tana that learns that he wouldn't be able to eat the Korban Pesach? According to Rav Sheshes, it comes out that the Yom Kfura So the Yom HaKuda even let he's not allowed to eat. And so who's the Tana? Because according to Rav Sheshis in the Machlekes, Rebbe and the Tana Kama, neither of them hold that the Aninus of the Yom HaKuda continues till the night. And you said the Yom HaKuda forbids him from eating the Korban Pesach. But we said everybody agrees that he couldn't eat the Korban Pesach. Says Yimon tweets only answer like this: Ad Masim Misayin Alav. Till how long does a person become a Einan on his Kodev that passed away? Kol Yisrael. That day of the Kfuda, the Leiloi, including the night. Rabbi says, Kol Zman Shalei Nikba, as long as he's not buried as a Einan, Aval Shen Nikba, B'loi Leiloi. If he was buried, he's no more Einan, but not included, but it doesn't include in the night. Amru Kamed Rabbi Yirmiyah. They said these words, this Pirush of Rabbi Yosef before Rabbi Yirmiyah. Omar, Rabbi Yirmiyah said, "Mitavunda," with a wonder. A great person like Rabbi Yosef to say such a pshatel. Lema the Rebbe lekula that you're going to say Rebbe is going to be the lenient one, that you don't include the night of the Yom HaKuda as a Einan. Only the day he's a Einan. But Tanya, we learn Rebbe is always more machmer. Ad masay misayin alav. Till when the Braisa starts off? Till when does a person is he noyeg ba'aninus over his karev shameis? Calls nigba. As long as the mace is not buried. Afilu mikon v'adasara yamin. And the aninus continues even for 10 days, as long as he's not buried. He said, Rabbi is machmer. He says only that day itself, none of the other days. Says so according to Rabbi Yirmiyah, he says you have to say the words like this: Ad Masay in the Braisa. Ad Masay saying Allah. Till when does he have the minig of or the noyeg that he's noyeg as over the karev shameis? Kol Yisayim beloy leile. The Tanna Kama says that whole day with not including the night. Rabbi Yirmiyah calls man shalei nigba, as long as the mace is not buried. But in nigba. But if he was buried, Teifas Leiloi, then the Aninus continues into the night after. So Rabbi is more machma. Amru Kamei, this gis of Rabbi Yirmiyah was said before Rava. When the Kama Rabbi Yom Kura Teifas Leiloi, from this that Rabbi said that the Yom Kura includes the night, which is Medabon and Meklal, the Yom Misa Teifas Leiloi Medaisa. It's mashma, but if it was the Yom Misa, so the following night would have a din of Aninus Daraisa. Says Rabbi Aninus Laila Daraisa. Does Rabbi even hold if it's the Yom Misa, the following night it has a din of Aninus Minatera? So what's the pshat? The kavanah is Ani Hayoim Aser. Aaron said, I am today Aser in eating the kavanahs. But the Laila Muta. Aaron said, but the night is Muta. But in the following in the next generations, it's also for to eat kachim. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi says the aninus of night is only medivus suffering. So how do we explain Rabbi? Says you're right. Rabbi is right that the night after is only aninus with the abana. It's not a stira. You can have that the Abana will be more machmir and make the following night also Isov Aninus, even though it's only with the Abana, to be mechazik the dinim of the Abana. Even though in Altera we wouldn't go so machmir. Okay, stop right there.